What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Eureka Springs project and Planet Coaster 2. This week, I'm spinning a bit off of the last episode, and we're diving into the Basin Spring Bathhouse and Spa, spending quite a few hours finishing up and detailing the grand interior. We'll also be chatting about the much anticipated updates for May and June. I'm still in disbelief on how perfect the timing is of these updates, specifically for this recreation. Maybe that's a little self-interested, but this is all happening really wonderfully for me and my plans. More on that in just a bit. This unassuming brick building is a bunch of boutique shops in real life, but I wanted to honor its original purpose, all the way from 1889. I mean, we do have pools in game, so why not go all the way? I also just didn't want to do more storefronts, so I went in this direction. I couldn't find a lot of info about its original interior, so I kinda had to use my imagination, which, for better or for worse, is always an interesting experience. So this build might have a few imperfections and or inaccuracies, but hey, I am learning and improvising. And honestly, the end result made me pretty excited about doing more interiors. This whole project is kind of about me combining realism with some artistic liberties, and I'm learning not to be too worried about imperfections, especially on these interior side quests. Do me a favor, give this video a like and subscribe, and before we get to building, let's chat about these updates. Frontier has really outdone themselves so far this year, and this new update announcement only adds more excitement towards the future of the game and specifically my ideas for this park. So, first big feature for the May update. The sci-fi theme returns, and I am so happy about this. I know a lot of people were hoping for the fairy tale theme, and while I am craving those spires and wall pieces and textures, flags, I have truthfully been wanting the sci-fi theme since the very beginning to really fill out more of my UFO theming within the town, especially with my Celestial Convergence ride. Like seriously, the timing and specific features of these updates have been almost serendipitous towards the original concept of the park. Western and sci-fi were the first two primary elements kind of needed to create Eureka Springs, at least in my vision at its highest potential, and I am so happy with how all this is being played out. Also, the restaurants last month, while I haven't fully implemented them yet, I have so many shop shells completed that I'm so thankful I'm going to be able to make functional here within the next few videos. So yes, in conclusion to my point, I'm very pleased about the whole DLC trajectory Frontier has for us. And I'm going to predict next will be the pirate theme expansion in July, and then the fairy tale in September. I feel fairy tale feels more September-ish, but maybe not. Then possibly we'll move on to pay DLC with the Spooky Pack in October, which will be great for this build. I don't know if that'll be paid or not, since we have got it before, and I feel like the kind of mode that they're going for is having us not pay for things that we've already paid for, but we'll see. I'm honestly surprised that none of these have even been paid at all yet. It's kind of hard to believe. Continuing on our list, security guards. Make sure your park is safe from pickpockets and vandalism. I don't at the moment play for management, but I'm sure this is a mechanic and challenge that many people are missing. I think the imagery of having security guards around is something we're kind of all missing a little bit, and I'd love to be able to station them walking around this building, particular, circling the mezzanine or something, keeping the space safe and private since it's so luxurious. Next, rock and glass color customization. I love this so much. I really wasn't expecting this, but yeah, the rocks, it'll be so great to create more realistic landscapes, especially for specific topography and environments. And with this glass update, I'll probably be going through and reshading most of my storefronts, probably darkening them just a little bit, maybe making them a little blue to make it more distinctly glass. Then we have Act 3 of Career Maps available in Sandbox mode, and Part 4 of Stock Coasters. Then we have the return of the Vector Return 2. Truthfully, I don't know the exact difference between this and the original. I am a coaster nerd, but I get lost on the specifics. I'm assuming there are separate features and or ride enhancements for this one. And under adjustments and enhancements, we have wall and eave pieces for the Western theme. I'm not entirely sure what they mean, but I'm hoping it means they're adding scalable 2x2s and 2x4 wall pieces to the Western themes so that we can create more distinct detailed buildings. I did come across that while building last week, where there are any wall themes that are carried over from Planet Coaster 1, like the Western Wood Wall, they're not as versatile as the new pieces because they didn't include those smaller scalable pieces. Not complaining, but it was something noticeable to have to work around, so maybe that's what they're considering here. And then we have the circle path stamp and the draw tool for delete mode. Hallelujah, just another pathing tool that is going to help me out so much. Really hoping it'll get me what I want faster. And being able to have a clean circle-shaped path that I can then reshape or adjust or even cut from with the new draw delete tool, it's really awesome. I'm excited for that. As well as the curb toggle, which has been long awaited and will definitely help me clean up some of these pathways and balcony edges. I always prefer doing my own path edges. That's me at least. The curbs in-game, stretching through your whole path network and clipping through terrain and scenery. It can really take me out of the realism, so I'm very happy that they're giving us this option. And then, of course, ongoing stability and performance enhancements. And then in June, we have souvenir shops, which will be awesome. Sell a variety of souvenirs to make your guest experience unforgettable. I have so many shops to fill, so that, once again, so excited to make more of this park even more functional. We have on-ride photos. Photos will be sold at connected souvenir shops. Might even make that a feature at my old-time photo boutique. Maybe that's where you can purchase those photos. Albeit they don't need to be purchased right next to the ride. And then we have career maps available in Sandbox mode, Act 4. Rides, stock coasters, Part 5. Returning ride, the Coriolis, which I actually think will look really great within the Eureka aesthetic. So I think I will probably use that. And then, of course, ongoing stability and performance enhancements. All right, friends, that's our look at the next few months, and it's got me pretty darn excited. So many tools to help me flesh out this place to my heart's desire. Thank you again, Frontier, and helping creators maximize their experience. I'm really stoked for the rest of this year. All right, and to the time lapse. First things first, materials and layout. In the design process, so to speak, I tried to draw inspiration from the historical context and intricate characteristics of Victorian architecture that resides in the area. The marble and gold really kind of take over, and it does have a little Greek coming through, but truthfully, I really love it, and I'm just feeling more confident about attempting to do more interiors. I tried studying the building's original motifs, but again, I couldn't find much on the interior, so I had to improvise with my own unique blend of inspiration. Marble became the base, making it pretty bright and clean, accented with ornate gilding and trims. I thought about adding wood, like maybe a sauna section to make it more rustic, Western feeling, but I really wanted to preserve this open, bright space, and I suppose I'm feeling grand. In the last episode, I said I was going to do 3 pools on all different levels, and that stayed true in execution. I think it came out very neat. As I was placing the pools, it did kind of hit me. I didn't follow suit in my own workflow correction from my last video, and I didn't put any of the second or third story paths before starting to do my first floor. So I really hadn't planned that out all well. And realized I didn't leave any space for stairs to the second story. So I was at the point where I knew I was going to have to sacrifice to either make stairs or this original first floor layout work. So I decided to sacrifice a staircase because I like the 3 pools and I like this open space. While it's not the most functional layout, the second floor does connect to the Spring Street with the balcony, so the second floor could be considered a separate business and technically has street level access with the bridge. A little whimsical challenge. Also, sometimes I have to remind myself that none of this is real and no one's gonna find me for not being up to code, and I get to do what I want. So I'm gonna keep the fudge shop tucked away on the second floor because I do think that would be cute just to have there cozied away. And could you imagine the smell of fresh warm fudge filling the space down below while you're swimming? Definitely a way to attract customers, but I'm probably getting ahead of myself. While I wanted to retain, a majority of this open space, I still imagined kind of like a mezzanine walkway going around, liking the idea of some ornate railing going around the room. So I'm keeping gold as my accent all the way through with ornaments scattered and gilding throughout. And while I was building, I kind of felt it was going to be too dark and dingy in here. And I just thought like it wouldn't be like a nice bathhouse, even with all the marble. And I didn't want too much artificial light reflecting off everything, so I eventually kind of thought of like a row of windows going around the trim, and it eventually leads to something that I end up being pretty happy about. I was then pretty set on the idea of having natural light pooling into the bathhouse, but I realized my row of windows that I was thinking of would probably not suffice. Then I thought about putting 2 skylights up top, and I kept the motif and design from the mezzanine windows. I am really happy that I thought to do this, and that I was brave enough to try it because I really like how it turned out. I really enjoy playing with light in this game, and it really completes the character of the space. Adds a lot more light. I also detailed most of the underbelly of the second floor to keep the story going, so to speak, as you look up. I'm honestly starting to love this kind of workflow with the tiny scaled supports and pieces. As mind-numbing as this looks, I feel like this kind of workflow started when I was briefly a product photographer and I had to design a bunch of photos for this local candy company with all this candy splaying and flying out of boxes. It was like dozens of combinations. And the candies in boxes had to be cohesively scattered together to make a beautiful, composition. Think promotional images of organized chaos. And mind you, I had little to no experience doing this kind of work at that point, but I remember after weeks of doing set after set and display after display, I started getting into a rhythm of dividing a set space with a varying degree of shapes and colors, and even started to find this enjoyment in doing it. Anyways, I definitely think it has translated to this game and other areas of my life. But this kind of workflow definitely gives me callbacks to being absolutely buried in candy. And cookies. There were also cookies. Anyways, I'm going to leave you all with the rest of the time lapse, some chill music, and a nice POV of the build at the end of the video. Feel free to slide ahead if you want to see more completed B-roll. Thanks so much to everyone who's tuned in and subscribed in the past few weeks. I really appreciate all of the support, and if you're feeling extra generous, please drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Tune in to the next few weeks where we'll be building a tiny indoor-outdoor wild mouse coaster and adding some restaurant designs to my already built exteriors. I hope you all are having a fantastic week, and thanks again for joining me on my Eureka Springs recreation in Planet Coaster 2. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.